Now here's where most people mess up. They assume more thinking will fix it. But the more you think inside a threat state, the more you fuel it. Cognition becomes reassurance-seeking, rereading, resorting, relabeling. Meanwhile, the basal ganglia prefers stable loops. If your last-mile routine is tweak, reopen, delay, that becomes the groove it automates. So at 90% done, your autopilot doesn't steer you to publish. It steers you back into familiar delay actions that feel productive and safe. You've trained safety to mean not finished. Why would your brain do this? Because of cost prediction. The limbic system doesn't evaluate truth, it evaluates potential loss. Finishing creates exposure to criticism, comparison, or change in status. Even positive change is arousing if your nervous system equates novelty with danger. Irene Lyon calls it fleeing from health. The regulated state feels foreign, so the body prefers the noise it knows. If your history wired praise to perfect and shame to flawed, the threat calculator learns one strategy. Keep the work in limbo, signal diligence, avoid verdicts. Let me make it concrete. You record a clean take. Objectively, it's fine. As you scrub the timeline, your insula flags a tiny vocal wobble. That interoceptive jolt isn't evidence of a bad take, it's your body noticing uncertainty. The amygdala tags it as possible social threat, pushes a little cortisol, and your attention locks onto micro-imperfections. You respond by opening a new audio plugin, then another. Each tweak soothes the jolt for a moment by giving your hands something to do. But notice the loop: jolt, tweak, tiny relief, new jolt, no closure. After an hour, you're exhausted and you decide to export tomorrow. That felt like a choice. It was a reflex. So how do we turn the engine? 2 levers: reduce perceived threat and increase clarity of closure. Reducing perceived threat is not telling yourself, no one cares, or just get over it. Your protective circuits don't speak in logic, they speak in signals. You neutralize threat with predictability and embodied markers. Predictability means fixed last-mile rituals, the same 3 checks, in the same order, every time. That gives your basal ganglia a safe groove to automate. Embodied markers mean you layer senses on the closure step: voice, touch, visual confirmation. Point, name the state, move on. It tells the survival system, this environment is controlled. Increasing clarity of closure means predefining finish lines that don't move. Quality lives inside named passes. Anything outside the pass is scope creep. You do make it perfect. You complete the clarity pass, then complete the accuracy pass, then complete the presentation pass. After each, you encode completion on purpose. Say it, tap it, log it. Those tiny rituals aren't cute. They're memory consolidation for task offloading. They free working memory, drop arousal, and starve the avoidance loop of ambiguity. One more piece: movement triggers dopamine. Dr. Sid Warrior points out that motivation follows action. Use that. If you feel the freeze at 95%, don't negotiate with it. Stand, shake out your hands, take 3 deliberate breaths, and perform your shutdown ritual. That micro-movement nudges you up the dopamine staircase so the next rung, clicking publish, doesn't feel like a cliff. Action right arrow motivation is the loop that breaks procrastination. Protection over completion is the default. You don't remove it, you root around it. Smaller rungs, safer rituals, clearer lines, embodied closure. That's how you finish without fighting your brain. The 3 hidden drivers of self-sabotage. Let's pull the mask off the 3 forces that quietly steer you off the finish line even when you want to win: safety conditioning, control addiction, and identity insurance. Once you can name the driver, you can counter it with the right tool instead of fighting fog. First, safety conditioning. This is nervous system learning, not personality. If your history paired approval with flawless output or punishment with small errors, your body learned that done equals danger and still working equals safe. That wiring lives below thought. You feel it as a subtle rise in tension the moment a task becomes real. Slight chest constriction, a flutter in the gut, the impulse to double-check. That's your interoceptive alarm, the anterior insula flagging uncertainty, and the amygdala tagging it as social risk. Irene Lyon calls the reflex to turn away from good outcomes, fleeing from health. Not because health is bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Your system prefers the tight, known discomfort of almost finished to the open, unknown calm of finished. The quick fix most people try is positive self-talk. But if your biology is in protective mode, affirmation feels like a mismatch. What works is stacking safety cues into the last mile. predictable sequences, small moves, sensory anchors. You're not convincing yourself, you're teaching your threat system that closure is a controlled environment. Second, control addiction. Perfectionism isn't just high standards, it's an attempt to regulate anxiety through total control. While you're editing, you control every pixel. The moment you ship, control ends and feedback begins. To avoid that drop, you widen the work. More research, more options, more passes. It feels like diligence. It's actually an anxiety management strategy. The basal ganglia, which automates routines, learns your last mile pattern. When exposure nears, expand the task. So final polish becomes an endless loop your autopilot reproduces. Control addiction shows up as scope creep, endless option generation, and chasing certainty that doesn't exist. The antidote is constraint on purpose. You set non-negotiable gates, 3 named passes, 2 decision points, 1 export. Decisions live inside those gates only. Outside them, it's noise. And you ritualize release, point, name the decision out loud, and touch the next control. Dr. Tracy Marks' point and confirm technique gives you a tangible end to the action, which your brain can encode. You aren't letting go blindly. You're handing off with markers your nervous system trusts. Third, identity insurance. As long as the work is unfinished, your self-story stays intact. I'm brilliant, this just isn't ready. Publishing collapses fantasy into feedback. That threatens identity, especially for high achievers whose worth got fused with output early on. The mind protects the self by preserving potential. Keep it in draft, keep me ideal. You'll notice identity insurance when your edits shift from objective to self-referential. Does this make me look smart? What if they think I don't know enough? The project stops being about the audience and becomes about you. That's a signal, not a failing. The fix is to relocate meaning from impression to impact. Before final pass, write 1 sentence. This work exists to help X do Y by Z, read it aloud. Now grade only against that. Does the output help the user do the promised thing? If yes, your job is to ship the help, not sculpt the image. A tiny story, a designer I coached spent hours polishing micro animations no user noticed. We anchored identity to outcome, reduced time to first click by 20%, and created a ship by checklist. She still cared about craft, but her self-worth was tied to the user's win, not her aesthetic. Shipping got easier because who I am wasn't on the line. Now these drivers stack. Safety conditioning primes your body to avoid exposure. Control addiction gives you a respectable escape hatch, work more. Identity insurance supplies the justification, this isn't me yet. When all 3 fire, you get high-effort stalling that feels virtuous. Breaking the stack means targeting each layer with the right lever. For safety, use embodied closure, voice, gesture, fixed rituals. For control, use constraint, named passes, decision gates, time box sprints. For identity, use purpose anchors, outcome sentences, user tests, impact metrics. Here's the checkpoint moment. If you remember nothing else, remember the triangle: safety, control, identity. Ask, which corner is loud right now? If your body feels hot and buzzy, it's safety, run your shutdown ritual. If you're multiplying options, it's control, return to the pass and gate. If you're narrating how you'll be judged, it's identity, read the promised sentence and measure impact only. One more quick win you can try today. Pick 1 small task that's 80% done. Write the promised sentence. Set a 3-step pass: clarity, accuracy, presentation. After each step, speak the state, point to the work, and log it. Then ship within a 20-minute window. Expect a spike of sensation at minute 18, that's safety protesting. Don't argue. Stand, exhale, point, click. When the loop closes, notice the drop in background noise. That's your system learning a new association. Finished is safe. Repeat that loop 3 times this week, and you'll feel the triangle loosen. The work didn't get easier. Your brain finally got better instructions. The 80% rule, redefining good enough to win. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Your work doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. It needs to be complete and truthful to its promise. The 80% rule is how pros do that on repeat. It says, aim to reach a clearly defined 80% of the promised outcome fast, lock it, and ship, then iterate with real data. It isn't laziness. It's how you root around the brain's avoidance engine without lowering standards. Why it works: 2 reasons. First, ambiguity fuels perfectionism. When done is vague, your brain keeps you looping for safety. The 80% rule kills ambiguity by forcing a measurable promise up front. Help X do Y by Z? Second, the basal ganglia loves stable loops. If your last mile always ends with a clean 80% lock and versioning plan, your autopilot learns to finish. You're not settling, you're sequencing excellence over time. What counts as 80%? It's not a vibe, it's criteria. Define 3 pass outcomes before you start your final mile and keep them on one screen to avoid attention fragmentation. Clarity is the message instantly understandable to the intended user. Accuracy are the facts, steps, and constraints correct enough to prevent harm or confusion. Presentation is it clean and consistent enough that the user will actually engage? If all 3 are met to the level that delivers the promised outcome for most users, you're at 80%. The remaining 20% is polish, edge case coverage, and optimization. Great to add, but not required for value. That 20% belongs in version 1.1, not in purgatory. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to eyeball 80% in the moment, which invites feelings to run the show. Don't do that. Pre-commit to thresholds. Example. Clarity threshold. A cold reader can summarize the promise in 1 sentence after skimming. Accuracy threshold. 2 source checks or 1 subject matter confirmation for each critical claim. Presentation threshold. 1 style guide, 3 formatting checks, 0 new fonts. You run the passes, hit those thresholds, and then you close the loop with sensory anchors. Say, clarity locked, point to the headline, and move your cursor to the next checklist. Dr. Tracy Mark's point and confirm method isn't a gimmick. It tells your threat system, we're safe to proceed. Okay, so the tricky part is the voice in your head that says, yeah, but this could be better. Of course it could. That's not the question. The question is, does this deliver the promised user outcome right now? If yes, finishing is the professional move. Pros don't hoard value for polish. They deliver value, then polish with feedback. Let me show you exactly how to use the 80% rule on something real. Say you're shipping a tutorial video. Your promise, teach beginners to set up a distraction-free shutdown ritual in 10 minutes. Define passes. Clarity pass. Cut jargon, add on-screen labels for the 5 steps, 1 sentence per step. Accuracy pass. Cite Dr. Mark's multisensory anchors, reference Dr. Sid Warrior's action creates motivation, verify wording matches your sources. Presentation pass. Consistent lower thirds, balanced audio, thumbnail that states, finish what you start. You run each pass once, hit the thresholds, and then you ship with a version note. V1, core method. V11, add ADHD example and printable checklist. That's how you respect both quality and momentum. The reason this works is simple neuroscience. Working memory is fragile. The longer you hold maybe in your head, the more your threat system pings you to keep checking. The 80% rule shortens dwell time in maybe. It gives your brain an earlier, reliable closure point, which frees cognitive load and drops arousal. That calm isn't laziness, it's capacity you get back for the next thing. Common objections handled quickly, but my field demands precision. Great, set your accuracy threshold accordingly. The 80% is relative to your domain's safety and quality bar. It's not a universal number, it's a commitment to ship once the promised outcome is reliably achieved. But my reputation is on the line. Exactly. Reputation compounds faster with a steady stream of useful, improving work than with one perfect ghost. What if I regret shipping? You'll regret stalling more. Version control exists. Use it. Now a quick win you can try today. Pick 1 stalled piece that's at 70-90%. Write the promise sentence at the top. Define 3 pass thresholds in under 2 minutes. Run the passes with a 20-minute timer. After each pass, speak the lock, point at the artifact, and check it off. At the end, stand up, exhale, name the version, and publish. Expect a spike of sensation. Don't negotiate. Anchor, click, step away. Then write 1 note for V11 and schedule it. This clicked for a client who sat on a landing page for 6 weeks. We set a clarity threshold. Can a friend explain it back in 10 seconds? An accuracy threshold, 2 user benefits, 1 case stat we can verify, and a presentation threshold, 1 layout, 1 font. She shipped in 45 minutes, booked calls the same day, and iterated the headline in V11. Same standards, fewer open loops. If you remember nothing else, remember this. 80% on time beats 100% never. Define the promise, set the thresholds, run bounded passes, encode closure, version forward. That's how you finish without fighting your brain, and how your brain learns that finished is safe. The Minimum Viable Output, MVO Playbook. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. You don't beat perfectionism by lowering the bar, you beat it by locking a smaller, clearly defined deliverable that proves value fast and keeps your nervous system calm. That's minimum viable output, not a rough draft, not sloppy. It's the smallest complete version of your promise that a real user can benefit from today. Why this works? Your brain tolerates small closures far better than one giant, high-stakes finish. MVO splits done into a staircase of safe rungs. Each rung gets the same quality attention, but inside tight boundaries, with hard locks that free working memory and quiet the threat system. The MVO playbook has 5 parts. Run them in order, no freelancing. Part 1, the promise sentence. One line out loud. This piece helps X do Y by Z, that's your North Star and your finish line. If your sentence is vague, your project will be vague and perfectionism will feast on the ambiguity. Keep it in view, top of the doc, first slide, sticky on your monitor. Part 2, the success slice. What's the smallest artifact that delivers the promise? Not an outline about it, the thing itself. If your promise is help new editors create a shutdown ritual, the MVO is a 1-page checklist with 5 steps, not a 30-minute course. If your promise is help a dev fix a deploy bug, the MVO is a 3-line snippet and a note, not a white paper. State the artifact explicitly. MVO equals 1-page checklist PDF, or MVO equals 3-minute demo. Part 3, the 3 passes. Clarity, accuracy, presentation, once each in that order. Each pass has a tiny checklist and a lock ritual to encode completion, voice plus gesture, per Dr. Tracy Marks. Clarity, delete jargon, front-load the outcome, make steps scannable. Lock ritual, read the headline aloud, point to it and say, clarity locked. Accuracy, verify claims, test steps once, cite sources. Lock ritual, tap each verified item, say, accuracy locked, and move your cursor to the next field. Presentation, consistent formatting, legible typography, export settings. Lock ritual, zoom out, scan edges, say, presentation locked, and save the final. These locks aren't cute. They recruit language, motor, and visual systems, so your brain encodes completion and stops reopening the pass. Part 4, the 20-minute window. Give your nervous system a predictable finish arc. Set a 20-minute timer for the last mile, run the 3 passes, perform the locks, export, publish. Expect a spike around minute 18. Stand, shake your hands, exhale, point, click. You're training your body that closure is brief, patterned, and safe. Part 5, version forward. Write the future before you ship. V11 adds pro tips. V12 adds ADHD example. Versioning protects quality without dragging it into today. It also tells the control system, we're not abandoning refinement, we're sequencing it. Let me show you exactly how it looks. Say you're releasing a finish what you start mini tutorial. Promise sentence. Help busy creators finish tasks by using a 5-step shutdown ritual in 10 minutes. Success slice. MVO equals 3-minute video plus 1-page checklist. Clarity pass. Cold open states payoff. Each step labeled on screen, 1 sentence per step. Lock ritual. Read the promise aloud, point to the on-screen title, clarity locked. Accuracy pass. Reference Dr. Tracy Marks, sensory anchors, and Dr. Sid Warrior's action creates motivation. Test gesture plus voice on a live task. Confirm phrasing matches your sources. Lock ritual. Tap citations. Accuracy locked. Presentation pass. Balanced audio, consistent lower thirds, simple thumbnail. Finish what you start. Lock ritual. Scan edges at 50% zoom. Presentation locked. 20-minute window. Timer on, run passes, export, upload, publish. At minute 18, feel the surge, stand, exhale, point, click. Version forward. V11, add kitchen example. V12, add printable. You just shipped an asset that helps someone today, and you preserved room for polish with real feedback. Common traps and fixes. Trap, scope creep disguised as user value. Fix, return to the promise sentence. If the addition doesn't increase the odds that X does Y by Z right now, it goes to V11. Trap, infinite options, which thumbnail? Fix, decision gates. Preset 2 decision points only, after clarity, after presentation. At the gate, pick from 3 options max, lock it, move on.